It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
The Patriots of Act 746 are on a mission to educate Arkansans about your Second Amendment rights, your natural right to human defense to protect you and your family, and your Arkansas rights when it comes to gun ownership. When it comes to constitutional carry, which here in Arkansas we have, according to what the law says, the possession of a weapon in public has been decriminalized. And that allows for open or concealed carry without a permit. And the Patriots of Act 746 are educating people to that effect. Now, if you're unsure about anything I just said, I would urge you to go to Facebook, and I would urge you to type in the search bar, Patriots of Act 746, and I would urge you to ask to be a member of the group. They're going to let you in, and then you're going to be able to ask questions and get an amazing information about what you can and can't do here in the state of Arkansas when it comes to your Second Amendment rights. Joining us now to talk more about this is Mr. Defoe Ray. Now, Defoe, you got to tell us about your name. Your real name is Daniel, but nobody knows you by Daniel. You go by Defoe.
Right. Well, actually, Defoe is my legal name. It started out 20 years ago as a misunderstanding and a crazy nickname, and so many of my friends don't even know that my name is Daniel. So I legally had it changed. So technically, Defoe is my real name.
Wow, that is
fantastic. That's what most people recognize me by.
So people start calling you something, and at some point you just like, okay, I give in. I'm just going to go change my name because at this point nobody knows. Nobody knows me as anything else. That's fantastic.
It just stuck, man. That's just the way it is.
So Defoe, where are you calling from this morning?
I'm in Arkadelphia.
Okay, so you're in Arkadelphia. Now, there is, I am told, an outreach going on trying to really make some headway into South Arkansas. There are chapters of Patriots of Act 746 all over the state. In South Arkansas, there's some great chapters attempting to start up. Now, you know a little bit about that, right?
Yeah, right, Paul. In your introductory to this, you were talking about, telling everybody to go to Facebook and look at the main Patriots of Act 746 page. And of course, we want everybody to be on the main page. But once you get there, if you look in the files section, there's a chapter map. We've got the state divided up into different selections of counties. And you can see on that chapter map, based on where you live, which chapter you need to contact and join up with. And in the last few weeks, we're really trying to stir up the southern group down here. There's been more of a voice in the northeast and northwest, and the south's been kind of quiet for a while. So we're trying to stir it up now and see if we can get something going down here as well.
How did you find the Patriots of Act 746, Defoe?
Oh wow! To be honest with you, Paul, I don't remember. It's been so long now, I can't remember how I stumbled across the page. I will say it was before the Jan Morgan thing, but Jan may have had something to do with it. I really can't remember.
So before Patriots of Act 746, did you know about the state of Arkansas gun laws?
Absolutely not. In 2013, I had gotten my concealed handgun license. It was actually before 746 had changed the law. But until I met the Patriots group, I thought I was still doing the legal thing, the right thing. I just assumed, like everybody else, that I had to have that license. And once I found out the truth, I let it expire, and I ain't never looked back. So.
Wow. Now, there are some people that, they still want that concealed carry permit so that they, can travel, across the state border and go to these other states that are reciprocal.
Right.
Yeah. So there's some people a lot of people get an Arizona license because I think it's cheaper. The same, you can do that as well. But that's why I don't ever understand. The Arkansas State Police, they're so hesitant to recognize. Our leaders are so hesitant to recognize the state of constitutional carry according to the law. I mean, you have prosecutors that drop charges when people are arrested wrongly for carrying. I think we're 6-0 when it comes to this. When they take it to court, if they ever do take it to court, you have people acquitted based on what the law says. I mean, it's pretty frustrating that our leaders and our bureaucracies won't actually recognize what the law says.
It's very frustrating, Paul, but there's a real easy answer for that, and you already know it. All you have to do is follow the money. It's all to protect that income that they've got coming from this thing. And as long as they can keep the gray area confusion spinning, we've got a battle ahead of us trying to educate people. Almost every day I find somebody, and I'm talking about people in my close circle of friends that are still confused. And I'm like, no, man. I mean, when you start explaining and show them the statute, that's the thing. With everybody hearing what somebody else has to say, it's so easy to get confused and get lost in all of the translation, right? But when that's what we do with the Patriots group, we have the statutes. We have the laws in black and white. We're not just talking, he said, she said. We're actually showing you, look, here is the law. Read it yourself. Look at it yourself and make your judgment based on that,
Yeah, and I think at this point, you tell me how they're benefiting from this gray area. I think it's manufactured confusion because they want the legislature to try to revisit this. And my fear is, and you tell me if you agree with this, Steve, my fear would be the legislature, if they do try to revisit this, they're actually going to weaken the state of our rights right now and take away what we already have.
That's my fear. That's my fear. If they start messing with it at all, that we'll end up taking steps backwards. In my opinion, 573-120 is written as good as it needs to be written. In my opinion, there is zero confusion on or about your person, and they have to prove intent to unlawfully employ. How much clearer does it need to be for anybody? Anybody that spouts confusion and says, well, it needs to be cleared up. We need to write more laws to clear it up. We need another bill to clear it up. They're just purposely trying to continue the confusion. There's nothing there to be confused about. If you don't have the intent to unlawfully employ that weapon against a person, you have done nothing wrong. Carry on or about. That's it.
Yeah, and then it's not confusing that the people who've been charged with possession of a weapon continue to either win or the prosecution drops the charges. I mean, that's not confusing. That 6-0 record is not confusing.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it were 6-1 or 6-2 or not 6-1, if it were 5-1 or 4-2 or whatever, okay, maybe you'd have an argument. But time and time again in jurisdictions all across the state, you may have a law enforcement officer that is just not aware of the law change, or maybe the law enforcement officer, and I think this is where it really gets into. It's really a sad statement. Maybe the law enforcement officers just disagree with the new law, and they're refusing to cooperate, and that's a sad situation as well, because they work for us. You know what I mean? And we in the legislature. The law was changed to allow more freedom, and we need our law enforcement, and we need the people at the top to instruct our law enforcement about what the changes are. I mean, we've been doing this for 5 years now. This has been the law in Arkansas.
Right. That's one of the things that we've learned from having our meet and greets and speaking with various officers across the state is this mass confusion that we talk about coming from the political side that we all agree is manufactured on purpose. However, we've learned from local officers that they've never heard about the change. The communication about changes in the law really doesn't come down the pipeline and get to the people on the ground. There's been a lot of people that have the badge and have the gun on their hip and can really claim ignorance because it was never communicated to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then what you have essentially, then you have the arrest, and then you have a waste of taxpayer money when the prosecutor actually looks and says, I can't get a conviction out of this because the guy was doing nothing wrong according to what the law says.
Exactly. We've got a lot of people also asleep at the wheel. I mean, we've got a lot of our local people, and then we've got the people that are in these offices and these situations to actually enforce the law. There's just so many people that don't pay attention. Whether it be the officer or whether it be our neighbors. Like we saw in the whole campaign thing, the primary election had according to my research online, 1.4 million people, 82% of the registered voters stayed home. If that's people that don't even care to get out and vote, do you think that they're really focusing on what the laws are? Probably not. And that's why we're trying to spread the word as much as we can. Anybody that cares about their Second Amendment right and the basic law right to protect yourself needs to be done in this group and hearing what we've got to say so they can at least know the truth.
What do you think of red flag laws? Governor Asa Hutchinson has come out and said that he might support red flag legislation. There's other Republicans on Facebook who have said, look, it's inevitable. We're going to have red flag laws. What are your thoughts on red flag laws?
Absolutely 100% against it. I am a constitutional believer. Right to bear arms shall not be infringed. All of the laws on the books already are an infringement. Red flag is just another step for, in my opinion, the liberal politicians to come after our guns. I mean, it's just the next step in what we've all been trying to fight against for years. There's absolutely no way that there can be a red flag law and it not affect negatively law-abiding citizens. It's impossible.
I mean,
so I am completely against it.
Yeah, and the optics. I want to remind everybody what the optics are because they're really, really bad. It gets very little media attention statewide. Governor Asa Hutchinson had a primary opponent in Jan Morgan. She's, a gun range owner, Second Amendment activist and advocate on the national stage, goes on national television, and argues against some of the, the worst anti-gun liberals. Okay, that's who Asa Hutchinson's opponent was. And she lost, and I think a large part of it was because so many people stayed home. She lost, and now, after Asa won the primary, the Republican primary, where he, made ads instead, instead of him, in his 2015 ads or 2014 ads, he was hunting with, in his Second Amendment ads with a rifle or a shotgun. But now that he was running against a gun range owner, a firearms instructor, a successful businesswoman, now all of a sudden his ads have him, gripping a pistol in a very strange way.
Right.
He tailored his entire campaign saying, I'm just as pro-Second Amendment as Jan Morgan is. And then, after he defeats her, he now has a Democrat opponent, and so he swings back towards the left. After the Arkansas Democrat Gazette comes out with an article, a scare tactic article on gun violence, then he comes out the next week and says he's open to red flag legislation. He would have never said those words if he had been in a Republican primary still, and that just shows you how fluid his positions can be, and it really, from a Republican standpoint, is embarrassing, in my opinion.
Yeah, completely contradictory to what he should be standing on. To what those in the Republican Party expect him to stand on, and that's one of the biggest issues that we're facing. Is there's so many people wearing masks of one color, but as soon as the opportunity suits them, that mask comes off and the truth is shown.
Yep, you are exactly right. Well, so Defo Ray, I appreciate you coming on. Tell us one more time. You're in Arkadelphia. If you want more information on South Arkansas chapters, you go to the main page, and what do you do after you get to the main Patriots page on Facebook?
Yeah, the easiest way. I mean, if I knew the links, every area has a different name. But if you go to the main page and go to the files section, there is a Patriots of Act 746 chapter map in there, and you open that up, it'll give you a map of the state and show you all of the divisions by county, and there are links to each of those sections down at the bottom. You can control click those links, it'll take you straight to it, ask to join and help out your local section.
All right.
As well as the main page.
Mr. Defoe Ray, it's been a pleasure to meet you. I really appreciate you coming on the program this morning.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate everything that you and Conduit do, and thanks for giving us a platform to help spread our word, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a great day.
You too, Paul. Goodbye.
Yes, folks, that's Patriots of Act 746. Go to Facebook, search for that in the search bar, and then ask to be a member. It's a closed group, but, I mean, it's huge, you know. What's I don't know. Is it at 15,000 people now? Is it more? Is it more than that? Has it grown? I mean, it grows every week. So go check them out, Patriots of Act 746, and join the online sensation today. The real grassroots. I mean, these folks are grassroots organizers, and they have their chapter meetings, and it's really great. And they engage with local law enforcement to get them on the same page. You know, it's just a very positive thing. They even get the local law enforcement or the local sheriff candidates on record, you know, as to what they believe. Do they believe what the law actually says? Or are they going to, you know, go with the manufactured confusion side? It's very, very helpful. We're going to take a break, folks. This